Okay, so I'm just going to start with the chair. So if anyone who's watching can go ahead and take their seat. So first we'll start by just sitting in the chair, feet on the floor. If you can't reach the floor with your feet, I'm kind of tiny myself, you can sit forward in the chair, maybe put a pillow behind you, or you can even place something under your feet, blocks or a pillow or a book or something like that. So first we'll do a little bit of grounding. You can keep your eyes open or closed, and your hands can be in your lap. And what we're going to do for now is simply create some awareness. Notice the way you're sitting in the seat. Notice if your spine is straight or not. And if it isn't, maybe think about lifting the crown of the head to create a little more length in your spine. And next we want to bring some awareness to all the points of contact with the chair and the floor or the book under your feet. So just feel your feet on the floor or your support. And then feel the chair on the back of the legs, supporting your back. Maybe even glance around the room and just notice where you are. Maybe find 5 things to look at that you can definitely see and label. I see a plant. I see another yoga mat, something like that, very simple. And then start to bring your awareness to your breath. What is the quality of your breath right now? What does it feel like? Do you feel like it's a little short, it's a little shallow? Is it deep? Maybe place your hands on your belly. And notice what happens when you inhale and exhale. Are you feeling more inhaling and exhaling through the chest? If so, start to imagine the breath as it comes in, coming through the chest first, but then let the breath move down. So then you can feel it in the ribs and finally in the abdomen. And maybe start to deepen the breath a little bit. Just make sure you're taking some nice full deep breaths. Oftentimes when we are nervous or stressed or anxious, we don't take deep breaths. And so we're actually not bringing enough oxygen to the brain either. So even just pausing to do a little bit of breath awareness and grounding in a seat, sometimes that's enough to just bring yourself into a calm space. And then we'll start some stretches and some movement. So with our hands, we'll bring our hands into what we call hands in front of the heart or namaste. And we'll bring our elbows out to the side. So we're pressing the hands together, and this will give us a little stretch in the wrists. And then we can turn upside down and try to lift the hands. And you'll notice another type of stretch happening here. And then release. And then let's do some circles and also with the feet. So we'll just get our ankles and our wrists warmed up. Then we'll go in the opposite direction. Again, keeping it kind of simple here. Great. And then we'll do a little bit of a neck stretch. So sitting in your seat with your spine straight, we're going to inhale. And as you exhale, just let your head fall over to the right. And you can place a hand on top if you'd like, but don't press or force. This just kind of helps guide you into the neck stretch. And try to remember to keep taking full deep breaths so you can feel it in your belly. And then go ahead and release. And then inhale again. And exhale over to the other side. And again, you can place the hand there if you'd like. I'll keep reminding you to breathe deeply because it's easy to forget. And then go ahead and release. And then we'll inhale, and we'll do this one again. And then once you're there, turn the head and look down. And again, you can keep the hand on top, and you will notice now we're getting into some of the back of the neck muscles here. And then go ahead and release and come back to center. And then another inhale. Exhale over to the other side. You can place your hand on top of the head and turn and look down as if you have something on your shirt. Something cool, like a butterfly, of course. Not a murder hornet, that would be terrible. And then slowly release. Inhale one more time. And then exhale and allow the chin to come to the chest. On your next inhale, we're going to turn the head to one side and just simply roll the head all the way up until you feel like your ear is becoming parallel with the shoulder. And then as you exhale, turn and look down and allow the head to roll back to center. On your next inhale, we're going to roll up the other side. And again, you can feel when the ear starts to feel like it's coming parallel to the shoulder. And then on the exhale, we turn and look down, rolling back to center again. Let's do that one more time. We're going to roll up one side, ear to shoulder, turn and look down, and exhale back to center. Inhale, roll up the other side. And then exhale, turn and look down and roll back to center again. And then slowly release. My apologies, it was a huge truck outside, but this is our life now, right? So from here, let's inhale the arms up overhead. Reach up, turn the fingers inside out as you clasp the hands and exhale. Inhale again, and then release. One more time, we'll inhale the arms up overhead, clasp the hands, turn inside out as you exhale. Inhale again, and this time we're going to exhale and lean over to the left. Then inhale back to center. Exhale over to the right. Then inhale back to center. And then release one more time. Now we're going to take our hands and place them on the heads of the shoulders, and we're going to do a few shoulder rolls. Maybe try bringing the elbows toward each other. And then we'll reverse direction and try to make some nice wide circles. Great. From here, we're going to cross the right leg over the left. If you're able to twist them a lot and hook one foot behind the calf, great, but if not, no big deal, just leave it crossed. Then we're going to take the arms out by our sides. And since the right arm, I have my right leg on top, I'm going to bring my left arm in first. Now from here, you can just give yourself a hug, and if this is a good enough stretch for you, just stay here. This one requires a little bit of mobility, so if you're not able to do the other steps, just stay here and enjoy that stretch. Generally, what we do is we twist the arms so that the palms are facing each other. But again, it's not easy for everyone. So if that's not accessible to you, simply press the forearms toward each other. If it is accessible, you'll come all the way around and press the palms toward each other. This is called eagle arms. We'll just stay here for a moment. And I want you to just notice what you're feeling and where you're feeling it. And if you'd like to intensify the sensations a little bit, maybe try bringing the elbows forward slightly, not too much. This is a pose you can play with a little bit, so you can also try lifting the elbows and lowering the elbows as you're doing it. Maybe even synchronizing the breath with the movement. When you get a chance to do this one on your own, it's just a lovely stretch, and you can stay here as long as you like, 10 breaths, 15, whatever you need. And then for our purposes, we're going to let it go and outstretch the arms, and we'll switch sides. So this time I have my left leg on top, so I'm going to bring my right arm underneath. Again, you can start with the hug, or you can press the arms together, the forearms, or come all the way into a twist. And again, breathing fully and deeply. So the focus here is always on the breath. And secondary to that is the focus is on the sensations in the body. By focusing on the sensations in the body, this is how you increase both your proprioception and your interoception. Sometimes we'll do stretches and we don't even realize that we have a little muscle that needs attention. This one is especially good for people who sit at their desk. We have a few poses like that. Whether you're sitting at your desk or you're sitting in the car, release now, or if you're, on your bike like this a lot, right? We want to be able to open things up. And having said that, we're going to take a pectoralis stretch. So when we're sitting in an office or driving a lot or whatever, one of the things that happens is the front of the body tightens. The muscles shorten and tighten because we're sitting like this a lot. And the muscles in the back, they are overstretched. So we want to strengthen those muscles, and that's something that you can do with weights or any kind of workout that you do. And in a full yoga practice, there are also exercises where we can strengthen those muscles. And we want to open up the chest. So one way to do that, and again, this depends on your reach. So ideally, we clasp the hands and straighten the arms. But if you're not able to do that, you can just hold onto the chair. So I just wanted to give you a couple of options. You can play with it depending on where you can reach, okay? So whichever reach you choose, we're going to take the arms behind us, straighten the arms, lift the chest, and lift the gaze. And then from here, take the feet a little bit wider, and we're just going to fold forward here. Just go as far as you can comfortably go. If you can only go as far as your legs, just rest your upper body on the legs and drop the head. Let the neck relax. And on your next inhale, we'll push through the legs and come back up to sitting. Fantastic. Then from here, we're going to do a seated twist. So we'll inhale the right arm up, and then exhale, cross over to one leg, and turn and twist, look over the left shoulder. You don't have to go too far. Don't force, don't push. This should feel pretty good. Don't forget to keep breathing. And to check in with your spine, just lift the chest as you inhale and twist as you exhale. Then on your next exhalation, we're going to turn back towards the front. We'll inhale the other arm up, and then exhale and twist to the other side. And once again, lift the chest as you inhale, twist as you exhale. Full deep breaths. And on your next exhale, we'll turn back towards the front one more time. The next thing we're going to do is come to the front of the seat. Take the legs a bit wider And we're going to take the hands and press them into the upper thighs. Now, one thing that we don't want to do, we're going to lean forward a little bit here too. One thing we don't want to do is hike the shoulders up to the ears. So when we're doing this and we're using our legs as leverage, we're going to lift the crown of the head too. So now we're getting a lot of length in the spine, and we're pressing into the thighs. So we're going to inhale, get really long, and then as you exhale, you're going to dip your right shoulder and you're going to turn and look over the left. And then you'll inhale back through center, get more length, exhale, dip the right shoulder, the left, and look over the right. Inhale back through center. We're going to do that one more time. Exhale, dip the right shoulder, look over the left. Inhale through center, and then exhale and press into the left leg, looking over the right shoulder. Inhale back through center, and then we'll release. The next thing we're going to do is a fold. So we're just going to inhale the arms up, and as you exhale, keep the spine straight. You're going to just move forward, move forward, move forward, and once you come to your legs, your belly comes to your legs, you're going to stop and just let the whole upper body fold forward. So let go of the head and the neck. Maybe even shake the head yes or no. And from here, you can press up to standing, but keep the knees bent. And again, let go of the head, and maybe even hold on to opposite elbows here. This is called ragdoll. So you kind of feel like a rag doll. You can try shifting the weight around your feet, maybe from one foot to the other, maybe from the top of the foot to the back of the foot, and just notice how the upper body starts to swing. Kind of like a piece of seaweed, you can get all floaty. This is great for the spine. You can play around with the degree to which you are bending the knees. Maybe bend them a lot, maybe bend them a little. And then slowly, when you're ready, you can bring your hands to your ankles, and then we'll walk them up so you can come back up to standing. And then we'll come back to the seat. For this next one, we're going to keep the knees together and the feet together. We're going to bring hands in front of the heart. Now this is a twist that we do usually in chair pose, but since we're doing a lot of chair poses, chair yoga, I thought we could do it sitting down instead of standing up. So we'll inhale and elongate the spine. Exhale, turn to one side, hook your elbow onto your thigh. Keep the hands in front of the heart, and then the gaze moves up towards the ceiling. But if that bothers your neck at all, you can always just look forward or even look down. So again, this is a nice way to bring awareness to your body and to your neck and see how things affect it. You know, it can be sort of a method of inquiry, learning more about your body, what it likes, what it doesn't like. And then slowly we're going to move back to the center. Inhaling deeply. And then exhaling to the other side. So we're hooking the left elbow onto the right thigh. Take your time here, full deep breaths. And then we'll inhale back to center. And from here we'll stand up. Now I don't have a desk or a table, but I do have my chair. So I'm just going to turn it around briefly. You can do this, the reason I said that is because you can do this one on your desk. And actually, you can do it in two different ways. So I'll show you the different ways that you can do it. So we're going to do a downward facing dog, but we're not doing anything on the mat because, again, I've set this up for you if you're in a workspace and maybe you don't have the equipment. So if you want to do it up high, you can use this part of the chair and you're going to move your legs back. and slowly fold forward, and you're going to let the whole upper body stretch. And then the other way you can do it is holding onto the seat. So you want to feel like your back is flat and the arms are outstretched. And the idea here is to get the stretch in the upper body, not the legs. So if you're feeling a lot of tightness in your legs when you do this, just bend your knees. That's not a problem. And then move the hips back to get more length in the spine. And breathe fully and deeply. Beautiful. This one's so good. And then we're just going to step forward to come up safely. The next one is a lunge. So we're going to use the chair for this. So just stand in front of your chair, but let your feet come to be about hips width apart. So we want a nice distance because we want to maintain proper balance here. We're just going to take one foot and put it on the chair. I keep my heel off the seat, but you have to play around with this for yourself and see how that feels. You can bring your hands to your waist and then simply lunge forward here as we inhale and exhale. And then inhale again and press back and go further, further, further until you feel a stretch in the front of the leg. You should feel this in your hamstrings a lot. Then we'll inhale and come back up and press forward. A couple of breaths. And then inhale and press back and exhale as you come into this. This is almost like a half split. And then we're just going to come forward, switch legs. You can do that as many times as you'd like if you do end up practicing some of these moves. I just want to keep it a little bit brief today. So we'll move forward. Then we'll simply press back, get some length in that left leg. And you can keep the foot flat, but you could also try to maybe raise the toes. It just depends on your body and what is feeling better for you in this moment. We'll press back into a lunge one more time. And then back one more time. And then we'll come forward and release. The next thing we're going to do is a squat pose. I'm going to move this so that the angle is good and you can see how this works. So we know what a squat is, right? Everybody does squats with their weights and they do this, These are great. Everybody should do them, okay? But what we rarely do is full squats. And the most damage that is caused to our hips is from sitting in chairs, whether it's in your car, whether it's in your home. The sofa, honestly, is like the worst thing for you. And you may notice in some countries around the world, people often just hang out in a squat position. They cook like this, they clean like this, and they don't have back problems. So squatting is really, really good for your back. So I'm going to show you how to do one with your chair. You're going to take your feet a little wider with the toes pointing out, probably about a 45-degree angle. And you're really just going to come and sit into this squat. Just see how low you can go. If you have a block or anything handy, you could always try putting something underneath and maybe just sit on it if it's too much. This might take time to learn and get into, but eventually you can just kind of hold on to the chair. And then when you're ready, if you're comfortable here, the full pose for as far as yoga goes is to bring the elbows to the inside of the thighs, bring the hands in front of the heart, press the thighs apart, elongate the spine, lift the crown of the head, and just stay here and breathe. This is wonderful for the hips. It's wonderful for the adductor muscles on the insides of the thighs. And it's just generally a great pose. Not always comfortable, but it's still really beneficial. But as I said, you can find ways to ease into it over time. You can modify it. And then we slowly release, and if you had your chair, come back to the chair and press up. The next thing we're going to do, which is really easy and I know everybody can do, is a simple quad stretch. Just going to lean on the chair, reach back, take your right foot or ankle, whatever you can reach. A few deep breaths here. Then go ahead and release and switch sides. So a lot of these you'll notice are very basic, but it's stuff that we don't think to stop and do. And so when all of these are part of a yoga sequence or a program of some sort or a class, it's just a great way to organize everything together, and it gives you an excuse to stop what you're doing. Go ahead and release and give yourself a little bit of self-care. We're going to take our seat one more time. So this one is another one for the hips, and specifically the piriformis muscle. The piriformis muscle is back here, okay, and it's near your glutes. And the piriformis muscle, if it gets too tight, it can actually squeeze on the sciatic nerve, and that can cause sciatica. So this particular pose is great for sciatica. So you're going to cross the right leg over the left. The ankle is on the upper thigh. And you can just sit here and breathe, sit straight. And then if you want to take it further, you're going to start to lean forward. How far you get is up to you and up to your body, because if you're feeling the stretch, you are in a stretch. If an instructor is doing this and saying, oh, hey, we're going to do this, and if you can't get there, that's not the goal. The goal is for you to feel the stretch. So only go as far as you can before you feel it, and then you stop and you breathe. Sometimes you'll notice that every time you exhale, your body does let you in a little bit more. And this is where patience comes in very handy in a yoga practice. Everything is in the exhalation. So slowly we will begin to release from this by sitting up again. This one in particular, I recommend holding for a little bit. Just really let your body enjoy the stretch. Now we're going to cross the other side. You may notice right away that one side is different than the other, and that, of course, is totally normal. And at your own pace, just keeping the spine straight, we're going to start to lean forward, using our full breaths, noticing the sensations that come up, noticing where those sensations are in your body. And knowing not to push yourself too far. That's a big thing with yoga as well. It's not a no pain, no gain kind of practice. It's more of a be kind to yourself kind of practice, because the body will get there eventually. We're not trying to push our body around. We're trying to enhance our relationship with our body. Then slowly we'll start to come back up to sitting. I have one last pose for you. So anyone that has back issues, oftentimes they're caused by, it's not so much the back necessarily, but the muscles around. All your core muscles are weak. These are overstretched, as we spoke about earlier. So maintaining some muscle tone in the abdominal area is really, really important. And something like sit-ups just doesn't do it. So one of the things that we want to do is to strengthen the lower abdominal muscles, okay? And one of the ways that we do that is in a chair. It's a little harder, but just you can bring your legs up. Maybe even hang on to the chair for now and just bring the legs up. Maybe actually hold on to the back of the thighs and just see how that feels. And then to push it just a little bit, maybe let go, right? One step at a time. And if this feels safe and okay, I don't want anybody falling off their seat. Make sure you've got enough room on your seat, and actually maybe even move your chair to the side so you've got more space, right? And then maybe let go of the hands. If this feels pretty good, stay here. But if you want to try even more, maybe straighten the legs. Full deep breaths. And then release. And then back in the seat. Close the eyes and just notice how your body feels right now. And then maybe come back to your natural breath. Instead of the deep breathing, just notice the natural rise and fall of your breath.